Have you guys ever seen a movie, or at least just a poster of it, that actually haunted your nightmares for years until you finally grew up and decided to go back and see what the big deal was? Yeah, I did. So today on the second episode of Let's Talk About It, we're going to be talking about the 2008 horror movie Torment. Hope you guys enjoy. This image utterly horrified me as a kid. The person strapped down to a chair with blood rushing out of their mouths while their mouths are being forced open by dentist equipment. This dude here in the background who looks like how I feel every single time I go out for a heavy night of drinking.
John Warren Axlop.
I don't exactly know nowadays why I was so scared of this, but again, as a 9-year-old kid, I'm pretty sure this wasn't exactly what my mind was supposed to be exposed to. And upon further inspection, it was actually a bitch to find this movie. I remember the movie's name was Torment, but upon Google searching the movie, it actually gave me an entirely different movie. And I'm not gonna be surprised if this was the same movie. I'm pretty sure that this clown was definitely fired before he actually got hired. And then I just said it and just typed in Torment Clown Movie. And wouldn't you know, immediately that image actually sprung back to mind. And then I decided to go and do a little bit more research, and apparently I found that this movie has a pretty miserable IMDb score of only 3.1 out of 10 out of 213 votes. So that obviously means something didn't go right. And then I decided to look up some trailers because I never actually physically saw the movie. And then upon viewing it... You okay?
I mean, am I well? I don't think the doctors would have released me.
You've gotta be kidding me. Okay, so apparently this movie was recorded on a Nokia E250. That's actually pretty interesting. Okay, there's a woman, there's a man, they're pointing, he's talking on the phone, there's a clown, she's naked. Hello, it's dark, and then I'm just already assuming that this is completely confusing. And not once did I see this guy with the dentist equipment stuck in his mouth before I lost all interest and decided to move on with other things. But upon further inspection, the channel that actually uploaded this trailer actually had the full movie also linked to their channel. So I thought to myself, well, I'm definitely not going to be finding this thing on Pirates Bay, that's for sure. And I decided, hey, if it's on YouTube, might as well give it a look, it's not going to hurt me at all. And boy, was that a mistake. And it would seem like there's a review at the bottom of the video in the description. Let's see what it says here. From the makers of Dead Clowns, another movie I've never heard of in my entire life. One of the most effective indie horror films I've seen in years. Bloody disgusting. Disgusting! I'm not exactly sure if they're talking about Dead Clowns or this movie, but in any case, if this is an indie movie, that would explain the Nokia E250 quality that we've seen there. I'm pretty sure those were the type of normal phones you'd see back in 2008. Okay, then we go over and then we see a little plot synopsis. Laura Wigington, a woman recently discharged from a psychiatric hospital. That already sounds interesting enough. Her husband, Ray, takes her to an isolated river cottage to recover. There she is stalked by a psychopathic clown named Dissecto, who performs macabre tricks for his literally captive audiences. Already this plot synopsis doesn't sound anything close to interesting, it just falls onto the side of generic, but let's just give the movie a look-see and see what happens. Okay, so I'm guessing this is where she gets picked up and getting taken to this cottage. Okay, interesting, fine enough. And while this drags on, a lot more interesting dialogue, yeah. Then we cut to this guy here strapped to a chair. If it wasn't for the blood on the wall, his shirt, and the fact he's got bruises all over his face, I would have just assumed he was busy at a dentist appointment. Then we see a Dissecto emerge and start to play some rather creepy music. Once again, this doesn't move anywhere further from generic. And then this is a completely long and drawn out scene. And this guy, I can't understand. He just seems so calm, he's just looking at what this dude's doing. There's absolutely no emotion going through his face. So I don't exactly know if the actor realized that it was playing in a movie that's budget didn't probably cost more than a can of tuna, or if he is just relatively calm. Either way, this is not the type of emotion I'd be displaying if being strapped in front of a killer clown, playing creepy music and playing with an ice pick. And then he blows up a balloon. Because clown likes balloons, you see? And then he decides to cut the music for whatever reason. I guess that the music was getting annoying for him too. And then after a few long minutes, he starts moving a table closer to the guy. And then brings out a carving knife, or whatever the hell you call this thing. I just know it's a blade. Covered in blood, and then probably this guy decides to breathe harder and actually starts giving some actual shocking emotion. Funny, I know. And after a few more minutes, he decides to sever the duct tape that was holding him together. Should have used flex tape there, buddy. And yet this guy's just twitching. No sign of emotion, no sign of resistance. He just decides, yeah, dude, f it. You can take my hand, I don't need it. And apparently he still seems to be bitching at this point. I mean, seriously, this guy doesn't even try to resist him sticking his hand in this blade. I mean, seriously, not trying to punch the dude in the face. What the fuck, man? And as a shock that should come to nobody, the f***er loses his hand. And now these two are walking outside a car, and I fell asleep at this point. Yeah, nothing interesting happens. They walk, they talk, a bunch of shit. And then nothing really interesting happens, you know. Don't even really play on this woman's psychology all that much as what you would expect. And then by the time I wake up, it's at least time for the next torture scene. This time with a bald dude that doesn't seem to be half as harmed as the last guy, but still yet shows the exact lack of emotion. And then we go through the exact same process as last time. This motherfucker just keeps walking around. This guy just keeps sitting with no emotion intact. He plays music, but it would at least seem the execution method is much different this time. After a few more minutes of waiting, Dissector emerges with the dentist equipment we saw on the front cover of the movie. But I've been wondering when we were going to get introduced to that. Then he promptly, what I would consider to be the film's most excellent kill, has got to be Dissecto promptly ripping this guy's tongue out. I'm assuming all the budget went only into this kill. After some more boring shit with absolutely zero character development, we actually get to one of the most climactic scenes, where Dissector manages to get inside the cottage where Susie is staying. And as you can consider, comes a generic chase scene, until bam, Dissector catches her. And then she becomes the third capture victim. But lo and behold, seeing that she is the protagonist, she manages to escape and promptly kills Dissector. And then, I guess, because of her psychology, which is the only scene in the movie where her psychology finally caves in, after she kills him, she decides to become the next Dissecto clown herself. By promptly smearing the makeup all over her face, and credits. Well, that was a piece of shit. Look, I mean, I know... Well, if this is what they were saying, if this was an indie film, hell, I'll give them props. They at least tried their best. But still, I'm reviewing what's given to me, you know. This was something that people rented back in the days that actually cost money to rent. And I'm not sure that this movie went anywhere because they did not follow up on anything. This wasn't even a successful once-off movie. But the only redeeming factors of this movie has got to be the two deaths. And yeah, well, there is technically 3 deaths, but the third one doesn't come from Dissector himself and only is him. So, with absolutely zero character development, a very boring story, generic scenes, the kills that are the only interesting parts of this entire movie. And hell, the whole visual presentation still looks like it's been recorded with an old Nokia phone. And I'm sorry, if you guys did enjoy this movie, I guess more power to you, but let me just tell you one thing. I did not enjoy this, and I wouldn't recommend this movie to anybody. And with something that should have surprised nobody, this gets the phone. I'm just absolutely sorry. For an indie film, I guess it's fine, but remember, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was an indie film as well, and that actually was good. So yeah, there should not be any excuses with this movie. And I guess it comes to no surprise that this was a disappointing movie. You know, even all those years ago when I thought this was going to be the scariest I ever watched, I did not expect things to ever turn out like this. I at least expected half decent, but when I saw the visual quality of the movie that still seriously looked like it was recorded with an old Nokia phone, I did not have any high hopes. Like I said, the only redeeming factor of this movie has got to be the death scenes, or the torture scenes, or whatever you want to classify them as. But, like I said, if you guys enjoyed the movie, I guess more power to you guys. I am just not with you guys on that one. My opinion stays my own, and your opinion stays your own. Let's not try to intervene with each other. But in any case, guys, regardless, I really hope you guys did enjoy the video. I'm John with a channel with a freakishly long name. This has been episode 2 of Let's Talk About It. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.